Linda Gilbride started out just like all of you, as a student at an Empire Beauty School. A graduate of our Wyoming Valley campus in Pennsylvania, Linda has now owned and operated her own salon near Scranton, Pennsylvania for nearly 20 years. She was so impressed with her experience at Empire, she encouraged her entire family to go there. Today, her husband and 2 daughters are proud Empire graduates and work with Linda at their family salon. When she's not busy at her own salon, Linda works for fashion-forward product line Joico, traveling the country, talking to stylists and hosting hair shows. We are so proud of Linda and her family. We even featured the Gilbrides in a television commercial for Empire Beauty School. Linda Gilbride, I've been looking forward very much to this interview because what's so cool about you is you become one of the poster children of the beauty industry. You've become a spokesperson, and your family's been a spokesperson for Empire and for the whole career of cosmetology. And first of all, I want to thank you for that. And secondly, I want to welcome you to Frankly Speaking. It's nice to have you here.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Because there's so much more I want to know about you. I know a lot about you, and you certainly know a lot about us. I know you're a very proud Empire Beauty School graduate.
Absolutely.
As is your family, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. But I know that everybody's dying to know how you got into this because I already said it in the introduction. But you need to know that, or the people who are watching this need to know that you're not only a very successful business owner, but you're a platform artist representing a product company, and you're doing extraordinarily well, and you are literally the epitome of graduates of any cosmetology school. So I want to congratulate you for that.
Well, thank you.
It's really cool.
It's an honor coming from you.
Oh, well, and it's an honor having you here. So I know everybody's dying to know, how'd you get started in the beauty industry?
Well, as we've discussed, it's been a different kind of journey for me. I started after I had owned my salon, opened it as a business venture, and was very intrigued by what was going on behind the chair with manicurists and how our people were affected within our company. So I decided to go to hair school so I could figure it out.
You got to take a step back. There's more about you. There's a lot more depth about you than just that. What I think is really cool is you had no intention of doing this before. You went to college.
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications and Business from the University of Scranton. Was involved with public relations and communications for a national foster care agency. And it was just looking for a change. So at that time, my fiance and I decided to open a tanning salon, which was the big rage 20 years ago. We're celebrating 20 years this year of our business. We opened the salon, and from there it just blew up, and people wanted us to do nails, which were huge at the time, big rage in nails. So I got my manicurist license first. Went back, then they wanted to add hair, so we expanded and added hair, and I went back for my hair license with Empire. And then I thought, while I'm there, I'll just get the teacher's license. So I completed it there, and loved every minute of being with the Empire family. And then we just grew our business from there, and it's been a family business ever since.
That's such a cool way. I mean, it's not a lifelong passion. It's not something you always wanted to do, but you started seeing that this is a great business opportunity for you.
Yes.
And boy, have you made it work. But here's where the interesting parts of the story get into this thing. Now, your fiance ultimately becomes your husband,
yes.
All right? And you have 2 daughters.
I do.
And you go to beauty school. I need to ask you the question, did you have challenges? I mean, you went to cosmetology school already having gone to college, already having started a business. This is a very unique path, all right? So people are going to say, oh, this probably was easy for you then, because you had a business, you had enough money, no problem, you went to beauty school. But I don't think it was that easy, was it?
Well, no. At that time, we were a new business, so we were putting in lots of hours working, but I needed to go. So I was running a full-time business. I, at that time, was a single mom of 2 small young daughters that were 3 and 4. And then we added a full-time schedule during the day, so I went to school in the morning and was there all day, then would go to work at night and do nails until 11. And then I would come home and get the kids ready for school the next day, and they did get off at daycare. They would come and go, and it was very hectic. I mean, but the challenges were that I was there for a reason. I had a passion. I was there. I would go. I saw it as my commitment to go to Empire full-time to get my degree in my manicurist and then hair. I just kept going. It was a job. I was ambitious and I wanted to be finished. And it was tough. It was a daily grind. And I just stayed right through some manicurist, hair, and then teachers, which is, it's a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment. Did you ever, the thought ever cross your mind to quit?
Yes, there were days where it was tough. I mean, running a business, you have your daily challenges of that, things you need to handle, troubleshoot. While I was at school, I was always checking my phone to make sure that everything was running smoothly. And there were just days that it was really hard. It was just, in my, kids, things happening with sick children, things I think a lot of people go through that are attending school now. And every morning you have to wake up and you have to say, all right, I'm ready, let's roll. And you go and you get it done.
Now, you got your husband to leave the auto industry,
Yes.
okay, while you were going to school. Am I right?
Yes.
And got him to come over and run the salon while you were doing this.
Yes, he decided to come over into our world, as we said it at the time, of the salon full-time. And we started it together pretty much and worked it, but then he decided to give up his full-time job to be able to run our family business.
That's huge. I mean, that's talk about commitment. Everybody had a commitment into this thing, didn't
Yes.
they?
Everyone bought in heavily, I will say that. It
Yeah,
was a joy.
When you guys do things, you do it all the way. I mean, you really do. So, okay, so now your husband's running this thing, you're in school, you get through school, get through your teacher's program, and then you come back, and the two of you are now running the salon.
Yeah.
Okay, but the story gets more interesting.
Well, we were there full-time, and he was not doing hair. He was running, the daily front-end duties of the salon and keeping our inventory and our IT up to date, and I was behind the chair. So literally, we'd leave home together in separate cars, walk into the salon. The minute we walked in the door, that was it. The end of the day, didn't speak to him until the end. I'd ask how his day was. We'd go home, we'd talk about what needed to be done, and we'd start over again. And then it got that I had been doing hair for quite a while. First I worked for OPI. I was one of their educators when I was a manicurist, and I got my hair license, so I started doing hair, and I loved it. And at that point, I had stopped working for OPI and needed to go to a, quote, hair show because I had been working a lot of hair shows, but never really attending. At that point, I was lucky enough to meet Luis Alvarez, who is amazing. Yes, and Aquage was brand new baby then. It had just come out. And I felt my weakness was in updo work. And I always feel as though you have to take your weaknesses and work on them.
Exactly.
So I attended one of their classes. And at that time, Luis was teaching them directly with Eric Fisher and Cookie Colazzo.
Great names.
Was amazing to be able to have that opportunity. And actually, Cookie Colazzo, his mentor who worked with them, invited me to come to their training and told those guys that I needed to be on the team. So I had an amazing opportunity happen that I could be working with an industry icon in Luis Alvarez and Eric Fisher as well.
Luis is one of the very top platform artists in the world right now.
An exceptionally talented gentleman, yes, he is.
So you started doing that. So that's how you really got started in platform work. People identified the fact that you did some work for product manufacturer OPI Nails, and as you started doing these things and asking questions, they go, wow, this is the kind of person we want.
Well, I was his assistant for a very long time, and I think that's where dedication and, how far do you want to go?
Right.
And what do you want to do to accomplish what you need? And I was happy to stand there and hold his pens and hairspray and comb and watch every move he made so I could learn. And he was very gracious in letting me and allowing me to do that, so I thank him for that.
No, that is really cool. So now you did some work with Aquage for several years, actually.
For several years, yes.
And then what we haven't talked about is your husband, how this got started then. Go ahead, tell him about the story about your conversation.
While I was traveling, one evening we were out for dinner around the holidays, and I said, if you could do whatever you would want to do, what would you want to do? With no limitations. And he said, I want to go to hair school. And I just smiled and said, oh, well, you've been doing this with us for a while. Why didn't you do it before? And for us, it was raising our children, and it was more about putting our kids through college. And he said, now's the time to do it. And he went to Empire and got his hair license.
That's totally cool.
It is. It's an amazing thing.
And I love having you talk about your husband, because you talk about him obviously with love, but you also talk about admiration, because I think you made a comment that he is an amazing hair cutter.
He's an exceptional hair cutter. Yeah. Yes, he's very detail-oriented, and for him, that is his passion, and he loves to cut, and he does a beautiful job at it.
Isn't that neat? And it's neat that you can admire that, okay?
Oh, I do.
Is there any competition in the family between the two of you on that or not?
Well, he stands right next to me, and sometimes because I'm not in the salon full time, because I, am a corporate employee as well. But when I'm behind the chair and people are saying, "Oh, who is that?" and I say, "Oh, I'm his wife, Linda," and they're like, "Oh, you're Linda," and I'm like, "Yes," and he just stands there, and I said, "Don't sit in my chair when I'm gone. This is my chair," and it goes back and forth.
Well, that's good though. I mean, it makes it
It makes it fun.
Okay, well, we're not done with the family operation yet.
No, we're
okay?
not.
Because, as everybody remembers, you had two young daughters when this whole thing all started. So now they become of age. Now
Yes.
what happens?
Well, our daughters grew up in our business, and my husband and I never felt as though we should expect them
Right,
to
or
go
encourage
into it.
them,
Or,
right.
we wanted them to do what they wanted. They both attended college and started their lives after college, and then they were in retail in large corporations. And with the economy, there was a downsizing. And at that moment, each of them, after those many years, were parents themselves. And they came to us and said, "We're going to hair school." And I said, "Okay."
Did they come together or separately?
Actually, within probably 3 to 4 months,
Oh my God.
each one came and started. And it was amazing to us. And we didn't say anything. We congratulated them, encouraged them all the way. And they had already, as well, know that our family and our industry has been very good to us. And we're very blessed to do that. So they went through Empire as well.
Yeah, I knew that.
So our entire family graduated from Empire.
Oh, that's amazing. And by the way, a great school. I hate to give, or I shouldn't say I hate to give it, I love giving Joan and the team at Wyoming Valley a plug, but they're an amazing group of people.
Yes, they are.
And I think you could have had a better mentor or mentors than you've had in that school. So, okay, my shout out for Joan. We're done with that. But back to this. So now the four of you, okay,
Yes.
are in this business.
All of us.
Okay. Now, this has got to be a little bit stressful too, because you now have daughters, and let's say, face it, daughters and moms sometimes don't like to have mom telling them what to do, or dad, or whatever.
Well, I think in our family business, it's always been that when we walk in the door to our salon, it's about our work and our profession.
Right.
And I think that lends to, it keeps it on track, if you will. In the salon, we're there to do our job, and we enjoy our guests immensely. And I think they enjoy our interactive family life, because we are a very loud, boisterous family. But I think we work well together. We know each other so well that it's a wonderful blend, and it's great to have them with us all the time.
Well, I know that a bunch of our people from Empire have come to your salon. As a matter of fact, the very video crew that's the guys that are working this crew here today have been in your salon, and they speak lavishly about you. They think that you guys are the greatest.
Well, they're pretty wonderful themselves.
Yeah,
it was a joy.
They're pretty cool guys. We've got to be nice, because otherwise they'll cut us out. They'll make bad cuts here for us. Let me ask you this question. How many people are working now in the salon?
I think we have 8 altogether.
That's great, and that's a great size salon too, manageable and successful. How would somebody sitting watching this video right now, how would somebody like that be able to come to your salon and get a job with you? What are you looking for in somebody coming out of cosmetology school who would like to come to work for a successful salon?
Well, Frank, I think in our industry, I work with a lot of people throughout the industry, and I think the main thing I look for is someone who's really passionate about the industry as a whole. There's many aspects to our industry, as everyone knows, not only behind the chair, but I think it has to extend from your love of what you do and your ambition and your motivation, because no one motivates you but yourself in this industry. And I think someone who's really motivated, someone who, I always say, if you have, a talent can be taught at times, but the motivation part of it has to be there. The passion has to be there.
That's a soul issue.
It's a soul issue. And so I really look for the talent and passion of what someone can bring to our salon. We are firm believers that everyone has a gift. And I think in our industry, you need to find what your gift is and pursue it. And where you have maybe some areas of development, if you will, you can always seek it out in education. We have a great assets and resources educationally. And in our salon, we're very education based. So I want someone who is excited to come to work every day, has a great passion for what they do, and really wants to grow and continue their journey, because our industry is ever changing. And
really
I
is.
think it's really important and imperative aspect for someone to be able to make sure that they can stay on track and grow with the industry and the trends as they happen. And I think that's a great path of success for them. And that's what we look for.
It really is. And would that be kind of the same kind of things that somebody would need to do if they wanted to become like you, a platform artist and a national spokesperson for a product line? It's pretty much the same skill set, isn't it? I mean, it's a passion, it's a dedication kind of thing.
Yes, I think you know, everybody laughs, and I always say one of our questions that we talk about a lot is what motivates you. And I think everyone has to find what motivates themselves. And I think on achieving those things, that's what it is. It's about being dedicated and knowing where you want to go. You have to have the end result, because how do you know where you're going to go if you don't have a goal? So I think goal setting is really important. And I tell people, write your goals down, your dreams, dream big, and then go from there. And if, you know, no dream is untouchable if you just want to keep pursuing it and you're dedicated. So you can have whatever you want. My husband's favorite saying is, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
You're most likely going to get it. I think it's true. If you wish for it and work for it, you'll get it.
I agree.
No question about it. The thing that oh, you know what we didn't talk about, and I think we should, because I want to give credit for that as well. You did some great work at OPI and Aquage, but now you find yourself in another organization, right?
Yes. For the last 8 years, I have had the pleasure of being part of the Joico and ISO corporate team. And I am a territory manager for the last 8 years for them. And I love my job.
Isn't that cool? So you are now an industry spokesman. You're one of these people that are the perfect success story, I think, in so many ways. And you have a salon, and you keep styling, and you're a territorial manager. I mean, that's an amazing thing. How big a territory?
Actually, I handle 4 states right now.
Yeah, that's not a territory. That's like a chunk of the country.
I've gone from the whole East Coast to 4 states at this point, so our growth has been phenomenal.
That's amazing.
We're very proud to be involved with Empire, and up and down and internationally, we're taking a big boom. So now we're focused on these particular states.
Yeah, well, that's really cool, and I'm really proud of you for that. And it's a great company, so I'm glad you're able to do that.
Well, thank you.
You have a chance right now of talking to 20,000 Empire students from coast to coast, literally. What would be your final word of advice? I mean, what would be, if you had a chance, and I know you do it all the time anyway, you're coming into our schools and talking to our students, you now have a chance to talk to every one of them and just to tell them what you think would be your best advice for their future success.
I think our industry as a whole really allots itself to people who are open to experiences. If you have an open mind and you really work hard, you can have whatever you want in this industry. I say it's the only place you can give yourself a raise whenever you want it. But that raise comes with a lot of hard work.
It does.
And I really believe truly that success is based on how and what you want and how much you're willing to put into it. So what I would say to them is make sure that you know what you want, set your goals high, and work towards them, and find mentors within the industry. People, I mean, it's one of the best things I've ever done. You know, when I was going through, I seeked out people that knew where they wanted and how they got to where they were. Ask them what their path was. And by the same token, give back. Once you're there, you need to make sure that you give back to help those that are coming through the journey themselves.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward,
Not back.
absolutely.
Okay. I mean, you always pay it forward.
You have to. That's the way we are successful.
Cool. And I'm going to ask you one final question. Did you have mentors? You actually had people that gave you good suggestions and good advice?
I still do. Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
I seek them out. So look for them. You know, your students should look for people that they admire and people that they would like to or aspire to be.
And stay away from the people who tell you can't do it.
Absolutely.
All right, they're the ones that
There's
are poison.
no can't in the vocabulary.
I like that. I like that a lot. You're an amazing person. Your family's amazing. I can't wait for the opportunity to meet your husband and your daughters.
Thank you so much.
So I'd like to come, if I can weasel an invitation sometime, I'd like to come up and see your salon.
You can come in and see us whenever you would like. We would welcome that.
I would absolutely love it. All right, well, thank you, Linda. You're an amazing person.
Thank you so much.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
All right, we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.